Hey everyone, this is Professor M3, and just wanted to share some insightful knowledge for you during this process that you're doing in any class. Is that sometimes we can get into a place where we're hitting a wall and we're hitting an element where we're not finding the creative flowing through us as easily as we normally do, or we hit a stumbling block. It's a challenge. And I always recommend that this is where we have to think about doing something of an activity or something that keeps our mind a little bit more clear or kind of unclutters our mind to leave room for some new ideas to pop in. And as a young designer, I was always surrounded by other designers that were just far superior than me in my class at U of A. However, I would always look at other books like Communication Arts and Print and stumble across other graphic designers' work and just go, wow, how can I ever amount to this kind of work? And so some of the work that I would see in the 90s was, people of David Carson with Ray Gun and Margo Chase and Carlos Segura and VSA Partners and just a whole bunch of different amazing, that's Dana Arnett with VSA Partners and Sean Adams. There's just so many people that were constantly doing some incredible work, Charles Anderson. And you look at their work and you're just like, this is incredible because it has a unique style, unique flavoring. I was very much drawn to Margo Chase's work just because I was a big fan of a lot of the things that she was doing. She was kind of spearheading a kind of an interesting revival in the music industry and the movie industry, like a gothic revival. And just to kind of, you may not be aware of her work and stuff. This was actually, she passed away not about a couple years ago, and she loved to fly airplanes, and unfortunately, she was in an accident where the airplane didn't make it, and she didn't make it, but she left a legacy. And so this was actually a beautiful memento booklet that was given out to everyone who attended her funeral. And what I loved about it is I love seeing this is the Margo that I remember. And yet, this is like the young Margo with the nice crop hair and stuff, the kind of gothic. But when we look at this stuff, I see this incredible work with Cher and Prince, Maleficent, Tarzan. And then if you look over here, Bram Stoker's Dracula, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, The Crow, just amazing stuff. But when I look at some of this work, I was always elevated because it was more organic and more unique, and that's where we look for inspiration. And I remember sharing this in one of my classes. One of my classes is a student was a huge fan of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and I'm like, wow, it's so funny as I know the logo, but I've never seen an episode. I kind of knew the lead actress, but I didn't know any of the other actors and stuff. And they showed me a clip, and in that clip, I was kind of perplexed because someone in the clip that they showed me looked very, 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 very familiar to me. And it was like, how do I know this person? Like maybe I saw him in another movie or maybe I saw him in a show or whatever. Well, it turns out, and I did not know this at the time, but it turned out that I actually went to high school with one of the actors that is in Buffy. Her name's Charisma Carpenter. Sorry, Charisma, had to pull out the old high school picture. I thought that was really interesting. So I reached out to Charisma and I asked her if she could say some words of encouragement or just share some insights for you guys. Because as I was learning from Margo Chase, I was learning about overlapping, and I was looking at what can I do differently. And when I interned with Margo Chase, she shared this beautiful opportunity for me. I got to intern with Margo Chase for some time, and she says, "Hey, is there anything you want as a memento of the internship?" And I said, "Hey, in one of your drawers, you have this amazing stationery system. It has this, it's all laid out, so it's pre-cut. The back of your business cards and letterheads, it's a printed sheet, and I love that as art. And so here's like a detail of it. So it's multiple of her posters just overlapped on each other, and this was the back of her letterhead and envelopes." And she goes, "Yeah, take a couple and stuff." So I was able to take some letterhead and stuff, and got some incredible advice from some of our employees there. It was the day that she received her first Mac, and it was really cool to watch it being installed. And so, anyways, it was a beautiful moment where someone shared with me an opportunity to learn something new and big. And so, anyways, with that, it's just ironic that even part of that realm, she's working with the people, the creators of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, that now I even know an actor that's part of it. And I wanted to share something with you that comes from Charisma herself. I asked if she wouldn't mind sharing some incredible things of wisdom, and want to just share that with you right now, because sometimes you're going to hit that roadblock, and sometimes we just need to know what to do when we hit it and how we can persevere and go through it. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to Charisma Carpenter from Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Hi, this message is for Professor Dan's class, and he wanted me to reach out to you because apparently I've got some fans, young people that are interested in a show that was on before you were born, which makes me very excited, and I'm super flattered. But he wanted me to speak to you a little bit about what it's like to overcome rejection in the workplace. And I think I might know a little bit about that, as I am more often unemployed than employed. And I hear no a lot. And really all I can say is, if you know your heart and you know what your passion is, no doesn't faze you. You just keep going and you just never stop. And no matter how hard it is, you never lose faith in yourself. You know what you bring to the table. You know your talent. You know your truth. It's an authentic thing for you to be pursuing what you're doing because you love it. So keep.
So it stopped right there, but she had another phrase. She had another video to send to us. So give me a second here, and I'll put part 2 up here.
I think I got cut off, but what I wanted to tell you is you just keep going. Like I said before, no doesn't faze you. Because when we work from a creative space that's authentic to ourselves, we need people like that in the world, right? We need that. Like the world needs that. The pandemic proved that creativity is essential to life. It makes life bearable. And I find that ideas save me. So whenever I'm in a dark place or I feel like I'm not making a difference or I'm not making any headway or nobody's seeing my stuff or I'm not on TV or whatever, I just take solace in knowing that I'm staying in the conversation of creativity. I'm taking classes still. I go to class, or I pursue another form of free form writing, or I do something creative because ideas humble me and ground me. That's it.
Cool. So I just love that even when we look at an actor or an actress or an artist and we look at their successful climb or ascension, tend to forget, I forget, that there's also some bumps in the road and there's challenges that they have to face. And I love that how Charisma mentioned how, she's more unemployed than employed. And so sometimes with graphic designers, that can be a place where you may not be getting the clientele that you want, or you may not be getting hired, but that doesn't mean to quit. You have to persevere through that, and you have to find ways to survive through those processes and those times. In lieu of that, I would say is like not to quit graphic design, but just pick up the kind of jobs that you normally wouldn't pick up in order just to survive and go forward. Eventually, you can replace them with ones that will allow you to really shine and be your true authentic self. So, I want to say special thanks to Charisma for reaching out and sending me that message so I can pass it on to you guys. And also just to tell you about, as a little shout out to Margo Chase. Thank you so much for mentoring me and being part of my life and continuing on the legacy. And I hope I can keep departing into my classrooms the knowledge that she imparted with me to you. So never give up. What's the other phrase? Never surrender. Until then, just wanted to share that with you so that there will be times when you need a little bit of motivation to get over that challenge and just to realize that the solution's on the other side. Thanks.